Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you're joining us from today. My name is Julian, and I'm the Director of Admissions and School Communications here at XL World Academy, a leading international school here in sunny Singapore. It's my pleasure to welcome you to today's first episode in our brand new series, XWA Conversations, where our expert educators unpack important education topics for parents. And that very much follows the philosophy of our school, where we are looking to partner with parents and to support them along their child's education journey. I'm really excited about today's topic, which is all about bilingual learning. Languages is something that I'm also very passionate about. I've learned several languages and also forgotten several languages along the way. Before we jump in today's episode, I'm just going to explain a little bit about how webinars work. So it's a little bit different to the Zoom or Teams meetings that you might be joining in your daily working lives. Today, your cameras and microphones will be turned off, but you can still interact with the studio today. We very much want to answer your questions and engage with you, and you can do that by clicking on the Q&A icon that you'll see in your toolbar, and you can type in your questions, and we'll be answering your questions as we go along in today's webinar and at the end when we have our Q&A section. And please don't worry if you forget to ask a question or something comes into your mind later on. You can also reach out to us or reach out to your dedicated consultant by email, and we're more than happy to answer any follow-on questions that you have from today. So without further ado, let's start the introductions. So as I mentioned, my name is Julian. I've been working in education and leading education organizations for over 20 years, both in academic and admissions and many different departments. And one area that I've consistently enjoyed over the years has been consulting with families and consulting with students, finding out all about their passions, their concerns, their hopes, their dreams, and then advising them on the next steps of their child's education journey. That's why I'm also really excited about today's episode, because I think it offers great benefit to our families that are joining us here today. And it gives me my absolute great pleasure to introduce Angela, a pioneering educator in the bilingual space here. Angela, over to you.
Hi, thank you, Julian. Thank you for the introductions. And then, yes, my name is Angela, and then I am the head of bilingual program and word language department at XL World Academy. It's really wonderful to have you here. And then the goal for today's webinar is to give you a clear picture of what bilingual learning looks like at XL World Academy. And then when you are whether you are the current parents or a prospective family or someone who is simply curious about bilingual education, I hope this session helps you understand not just what we do, but why we do it. Okay? And then we start the first slides of today. Language open a door to the world. Language is more than a word. It connects us to people, cultures, and opportunities. When children grow up with two or even more languages, they learn to see the world in different ways and understand the different perspectives. Building a strong language foundation in the primary year, giving them more choice in life. And that is why we often say language open the door to the world. It helps children connect with the world. Okay, so the next one, why bilingual learning? When children learn in two languages, so research also there's a lot of many positive research also shows that the benefits our children's the brain and overall the development. First, bilingual learners have more flexible mind, and they develop stronger problem-solving skills and a better ability to shift between different ways of thinking. The second, bilingual education shapes both identity and perspective. Children learn to move comfortably between cultures. They learn to understand different viewpoints, see things from more than one angle, and communicate with people from a diverse backgrounds. So over time, they become more open-minded, more confident, and more able to connect with others. That's essential in today's global world. So it's also particular like a reality we can't ignore. So English and Chinese Mandarin are the two most widely spoken language in the world today. Together, they connect more people, more economics, and a more global opportunity. When we talk about English and Chinese, this language, we are talking about these two very different language system. So different structure, there is a different writing system and a different path to become literate. So because of this, learning these two languages very well requires intentional planning and enough time. In most international school worldwide, English, of course, naturally become the dominant language. It is the language used for almost every subjects, like math, science, literacy, social study, everything. So English grows quickly because students are surrounded by it all day. So in Singapore or the worldwide, many international school children learn Mandarin Chinese as their additional language. Some school provide 40 minutes Chinese lesson a day, and some in maybe 2 or 3 lessons per week. With such limited time, it's hard for students to build a strong Chinese foundation language skills. So by secondary school, many students, especially those learning Chinese as an additional language, find their Chinese is still not that very strong, still at a very basic level. Reading and writing are even more difficult. And this is also a problem for native Chinese speaker who grow up in English dominant international school. I heard students, they all the time they say, "Hi, 高老师, I can talk to my parents in Chinese, but I can't read. And writing is even more harder." So has been said without the structured reading and writing and learning in the primary year, and the students sometimes fall behind, even they are the native speaker. So now more and more parents want their child to think, they read, write, and learn academically in both languages. This is why international school education is changing. Bilingual programs are no longer a nice to have. Sometimes they become a key advantage for students to growing up in a multilingual and a multicultural the world. Okay, so based on this slide, why bilingual learning? So therefore, our goals are clear. We want our students to be bilingual, able to communicate confidently in both languages. Biliterate, able to read and write with understanding in both. And next one is the high achieving, meeting the strong academic standard through two languages. And then the last is the cross-culturally competence, able to understand, connect, and move comfortably between cultures. So bilingual education means the students develop both languages at the same time, and their academic learning grows right along with them. Okay, the next slide. So we will, with all that in mind, let's dive into the heart of today's webinar, how bilingual learning really looks here at XWA. Okay, our bilingual program is now in its 5th year, and it has been growing steadily along with our students. Each year, we add one more grade level as the cohorts move up. Right now, our highest bilingual program is in grade 4. And next year, it will naturally progress to grade 5. So the program continues to grow and involve our students to do. Okay, and then next, let me introduce our bilingual model. In bilingual education, there's generally two type of immersion program, one-way immersion and a two-way immersion. Our school used the two-way immersion model. In a one-way immersion model is the whole class of students from English dominant speaking groups, family. So, and they learn every day together, learn the target language together. So, but what is exactly in two ways immersion model? In a two-way immersion model, which is what we used, the class includes both English dominant speaking students and Chinese dominant speaking students as a learner. And the two group of students naturally learn together and they learn from each other. So in this model, students learn in both English and Chinese across the whole school day, and they don't just switch language occasionally. They actually learn through both languages in meaningful and intentional way. So what makes the model special? Both languages are used in a balanced and a purposeful way. Is a balance means like some people say 50-50. We could also say equal time, equal instructional time. So students don't just learn the language, they use the language to learn math, science, literacy, social study, and more. Our curriculum is designed based on the bilingual instructional time and academic standard. So students get enough depth in both subjects and both languages. Because of this, so students develop academically knowledge and language proficiency in English and Chinese at the same time. So they grow in both languages together, and over time, they become truly biliterate, able to read and write confidently in both. And why does this matter? So because students become confident in fluency in both English and Chinese. So not just in everyday interpersonal communication basic surface level, but also in academic learning level. So they learn to connect with people also from diverse backgrounds, and they develop into more open-minded and with more global awareness, appreciative of the different cultures. Okay, so this is a two-way immersion models that benefit. Okay, so now that we have looked at our model itself, let's talk about how we bring it to life in the classrooms. We have two languages, we have two teachers, we have one classrooms. So they're working together to create a truly bilingual learning environment. In our bilingual classrooms, we have two homeroom teachers, one experienced native English teacher and one native Chinese homeroom teacher. This represents not only the two languages, but also the blending of two cultures. The teachers co-plan, co-assess, and co-teach. And because both teachers are physically with the same group of students every day, so they can closely observe each children's learning and provide timely support whenever it's needed. So that makes our model unique is that the two teachers are not teaching the same lesson twice or translating for each other. They are teaching one integrated curriculum through two languages side by side. So this setup also allowed us to use a variety of effective co-teaching models to support our students. Okay, co-teaching model. Okay, this beautiful, the icons. Many parents ask how these two teachers work together in one classrooms. Because we have two teachers, we can choose the most effective co-teaching model depending on the lesson, really depend on the lesson and the learning goals. For example, we have one group, we have different one group of the students. We have one group of students, and then the one teacher lead the lesson, and the one teacher just support. The helping students, checking understanding, and providing individual guidance. That is for the one teacher teach, and one teacher observe and assist. Another one group is two teachers providing the team teach. Sometimes both teachers teach the same group of students together, standing side by side, like, for example, math and sometimes science. For example, part of the concept is introduced in English. And then the Chinese teacher continues the lesson to deepen understanding and provide more practice. This is the form of partial immersion. Students learn the same academic concept through both languages, and the vocabulary and ideas reinforce each other. And then most of the time, the teacher also use two groups of students, the co-teaching model. We have two groups of parallel teaching. Sometimes teacher divide the class into two groups. Each teacher teach their content in their target language. This gives students more focused attention and fully immersion as they speak, learn, and practice entirely in that target language. When teachers plan, and they also have to decide it, which co-teaching model do they use. Sometimes they also will do like one teacher teach, another teacher probably just reinforce or pre-teach or reteach based on the student needs. And sometimes we also have a multi-groups teachings model. So the two teachers always choose the model that best fit the subjects and the students' need and the language goal. So this flexibility is what makes bilingual learning at XWA strong, responsive, and truly integrated. Okay, and then we will talk about the subjects. XWA, we are a full IB school. This slide shows the IB PYP, the framework, which is the foundation for all learning at XWA. In the PYP we work through the 6 transdisciplinary themes. So all subjects like language, math, social study, and science are integrated into these 6 big transdisciplinary themes. Instead of learning subjects in isolation, students explore meaningful concepts that connect across disciplines and across real life. For the bilingual learner, these themes also become a space to experience culture in authentic way. So of course, depending on the unit, sometimes we also integrate a lot of cultural experience into the unit. The students might explore calligraphy, ceramic, traditional instruments, and inventions and other hands-on cultural activities that deepen both their language and cultural understanding. So through the PYP, children are not just learning about the world, they are also learning to understand it through 2 languages, 2 cultures, and multiple perspectives. Okay, the next, let me give you an example. This is an example of one of our bilingual class timetable, just to give you a sense of what a week looks like. Our bilingual students spend a significant amount of time with their 2 homeroom teachers every day during morning meeting, literacy time, language time, right? Language literacy time, and mathematics and UI time, unit of inquiry. So in IB school, we always call it UI time. Depending on the learning goal of each lesson, the teacher chooses the most suitable co-teaching model. For example, in math, so the English teacher may one teacher's English teacher lead on Monday, and the Chinese teacher may lead on Tuesday. And then they team teach together on Friday. And sometimes for literacy, we often use parallel teaching so students can work more closely in their target language with each other. So on this slide, you see so many colors, right? The blue I just put the blue represent English, and the red represent the Chinese language. So when blue and red overlaps, it formed purple. So in our timetable, the purple area shows the times when students are learning with both teachers altogether, depends on the learning goal. Okay, so in the afternoon, you also can see the students also have push-out Chinese and English language lesson during their language acquisition periods. So this allows for more target differentiation based on each child's language needs. So, and also the single subject class, the PE, swimming. So that is the end of the day. We will having those specialist class based on the this class timetable. So all of these arrangements ensures that the students have a balanced amount of time learning in both uh, English and Chinese language each week. Okay, so this is, I hope it can give you some briefly ideas. Okay, all right, I will pause it here because of time. And there's so much more we could explore about the language learning and the bilingual education, but I would love to open it up to you now. If you have any certain questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Thank you,
Okay, hi,
Angela.
Julian, over to you.
Yes. So, audience, if you have any questions, remember you can just click on that Q&A button in your toolbar and type in your questions. And here's some questions that have come in already. And one very much top of mind of all of us at the moment is regarding AI. And
Oh,
in times where AI is changing everything so quickly, and we have more and more sophisticated, accurate translation tools. Do children still need to learn two or more languages in this era that we're now entering?
actually, this is a very good question. Actually, this year we have a lot of conference from the teacher side, from the education philosophy. There's a lot of AI the conference. We're talking about this. Many parents also worry that as AI develops, language learning might become less important. But I actually believe the opposite is true. As um, as AI becomes more advanced, of course, it's very convenient. For the next generation, we'll need to be, I think, for be more bilingual or even multilingual more than ever. Why I'm saying that? And the truth is, many young people today already grow up speaking two languages or more than two languages already. And then we also have so many, a lot of rich tools and platform for learning languages, which means children now have even more opportunity to learn many languages well. And also, there are many things that AI, I think, simply cannot replace. Like I'm thinking learning a language, thinking about the human's connections and the culture's nuance and the wisdom, the caring, and the personal and the professional judgment that come from real people and the real communication. So language gives children access to another culture, another world view, another way of connecting with people. So yes, AI helps us a lot, but it's still, I think it still cannot replace the humans speaking, understanding, and experiencing a language and a culture for themselves. So I think this is my answer. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interesting that you mentioned that you think actually children might learn even more languages thanks to the advances that AI brings.
Yeah.
Excellent. We have another question here. I think you mentioned some of the different models, the two-way, one-way. What is the fundamental difference between learning Chinese in a bilingual program and learning it through a daily single period language class in a mainstream program?
I think this is a very, very, this, most of the parents ask this question. So what are the difference? And the big difference at the times, first in my mind is the time and how the language is used.
Okay.
So in the non-bilingual program, our school called mainstream program, Chinese is one daily language class. Students mostly learn vocabulary, reading, and simple communication only 40 minutes a day. But in the bilingual program, children use Chinese language for much more of the day. And most importantly, they use Chinese to learn all the subjects like mathematics, science, and also the inquiry, and not just to learn the language itself. So people sometimes often ask, I give you an example for the math. In Some parents ask, okay, hi, Angela, this is in bilingual math. If students learn half in English, half in Chinese, Does that means 50 in English, 50, another 50 in Chinese, put together 100? I say yes, of course. Based on the feature, probably you can see we are learning the same number of mathematics content or the concepts compares the mainstream the students. Of course, based on the feature, you see it's 100% and another 100%. But actually, when you look at the vocabulary and academic language students gain in both languages is more than 100. That's for sure. They learn the same math, but deliver in the two set of different language. They are not just learning the concept, they're learning two set of academic terms, two ways of expressing ideas, and the two ways of understanding the same problem. So this is the powerful of bilingual learning compared to the non-bilingual program.
Fascinating. And another question that often we hear this from parents is if my child has no background in Chinese, has never spoken Mandarin or learned Mandarin before, or even English maybe, will they
Uh-huh.
be able to join a bilingual program? Will they struggle? How does it work?
Uh, I think there's many children join our bilingual program with little or something even no background in one of the language, and this is completely normal. And also, young children learn language incredibly quickly, especially when they learn them every day in a supportive environment. I still remember during the some of the parents workshops, one of the parents asked me, uh, I don't speak Chinese. Whether is my child allowed to enroll to the bilingual program? I say, as a parent, you do not need to know Chinese or English for your child to join the bilingual program. Okay, so your encouragement at home matters far more than your own language ability. With two teachers in the classrooms, a clear routine, a lot of visual support, and a strong language modeling, children usually settles in much faster than parents expected. But of course, we don't recommend students join the bilingual program as just any grade level. But therefore, we do have our entry requirement of the language. It is important that they enter at the stage where they can build a strong foundation and feel confident. We're just thinking about the children. Because learning a language simply takes time. And this is also why students who wish to join the bilingual program in the upper grade, for example, like a grade 5 or
Mm.
grade 6, we may need a proficiency, language proficiency check in both languages just to make sure they can succeed and feel supported. Okay, I hope this helps answer your questions,
Okay.
actually.
And so you explained earlier about how all the subjects are taught in both languages. And one question that's just come in is, will that affect the students' overall academic performance if they're learning all the language, all the subjects in both languages?
This is a very good question. Joining a bilingual program does not reduce academic performance. The academic expectation are exactly the same as the regular program, mainstream program. In fact, over time, many bilingual students develop stronger thinking and academic skills based on a lot of data shows. Um, because learning in two languages builds flexibility and attention and deeper understanding. And so maybe that is the why. And I'm thinking how best we can support our students. Of course, we are not just only rely on the score. We don't just only on the text score. Okay, how much vocabulary the students can speak. We we use much broader view of learning, include like class observations, how students explain their thinking and their growth in reading and writing in both languages. For example, English, we use map test to assess our English literacy, mathematics, and science. For Chinese languages, this year we will use the YCT, use Chinese test to see how is our Chinese, the proficiency level. So we are looking at students as a whole learner, not just how many words, how is their language they can memorize, they can speak. Our goal is this daily meaningful growth academically, linguistically, and personally.
So it's a very much a
Okay.
holistic approach to
Yeah.
assessing the progress. Very different to when I went to school and I remember having to memorize vocabulary lists and then getting tests on vocabulary. Fascinating. So one question here. Interesting. Yeah. So our bilingual program will end at the end of grade 5. And how does students transition into the next phase of their school journey into secondary school?
Okay. This in primary school, our EYPY, our goal is to build a strong and solid language foundation for both English and Chinese language. With this foundation, students can either move into the higher phase uh, because in IB we have phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can go to the higher phases or the advanced Chinese pathway in secondary school, or continue into Chinese A for the deeper literacy study. So we can provide more opportunity for students to have more choice.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I just want so regardless of which curriculum system, which school or which country, what are your tips for parents in supporting bilingual learning at home?
At home. Okay, I'd love to share some few very simple for supporting bilingual learner at home. You definitely do not need to be the bilingual yourself. Small everyday habit makes a big difference. Firstly, I think just celebrate efforts because language learning takes time and energy. After a full day of studying in two languages, children can feel tired, and that's completely normal. And they are focusing hard all day long. So praise your child for trying, and you can say things like, "You work so hard today," or "I'm so proud of you for learning two languages every day." These small moments of encouragement really help build the children's confidence. I think this is the first I really want to suggest for the parents. And secondly, maybe reading regularly. Encourage your child to read, maybe for both languages, in Chinese book and English book. It doesn't need to be so long. Even 10 minutes a day builds vocabulary and interest. That would be really helps a lot. And maybe a next baby tip is like encourage the students to use the language outside the classrooms. Maybe cooking, shopping, watching a show, talking about their day. Real life language use is incredibly powerful. Even just order the food at the restaurant. Then lastly, probably you don't need to worry about you have to know how to read the Chinese book to your child. You can still continue using your family first language at home because a strong first language actually supports the learning of a second language learner or third language learning. When children can think and express themselves clearly in one language, they can also transfer those skills to another. So please continue speaking your home language, your first language, your strong language with your child. Which strengthens their identity and their confidence and their overall language development. Okay.
Thank
Small
you.
routine, a lot of encouragement. Okay.
Excellent points. So we still have a little bit more time. If any other parents still have any burning questions, feel free to click on that Q&A button and type it into the Q&A box. And I said, please don't worry if you think of questions later on, then feel free to reach out to our consultants later on, who'll be more than happy to answer your questions or connect you with Angela if you have any questions around bilingual education that our consultants can't answer. Okay, then we'll move on just to explain a little bit about our school. And whilst you're typing in your questions, if you do have any. So XWA Academy is a diverse international school of now we're just over 1,000 students located in the center north of Singapore. And we've been around since 2014 here, offering an inspirational education to children aged 18 months to 18 years old. And when I say it's diverse, it's not just nationalities or passports, but it's also interests, languages, learning styles, and student aspirations. We're a school that is small enough to know every student's name. We know when your child has had a haircut or bought a new school bag, for example. But we're also big enough to offer over 90 after-school programs, multiple subject and language options, such as the bilingual pathway that we were talking about earlier, and many more other programs and education pathways. We truly cater to the diverse needs and interests of our students. And that close-knit community where every student has a sense of belonging, is valued, listened to, and nurtured is very much the hallmark of our school and even ingrained in our mission statement. Whilst that doesn't sound as exciting as digital media lab, innovation hubs, or even an Olympic-sized swimming pool, study after study after study shows that what truly makes an impact on learning and student progress is teachers who know their students well, students having a strong sense of belonging and feeling supported, and also a very strong collaborative teacher and learner community. And that's exactly what Excel World Academy is all about. And it's also evidenced in our student outcomes. I'm always amazed at what our graduates achieve. And last year, our graduates secured over 60 million US dollars in scholarships and over 400 university offers, as well as 21% of our graduates received the prestigious bilingual IB diploma too. It really just shows how much we value bilingualism here at Excel World Academy. Having said that, we do have a state-of-the-art campus with every facility an educator could dream of. What's important is not just the campus and the facilities, but what schools use them for. And this is an area that we excel at with leading outdoor education and experiential learning programs, one of Asia's most advanced AI and education technology programs, as well as world-class sports and arts programs, some fabulous, amazing high school performances taking place in our auditorium here. It would be my absolute pleasure to show you around our wonderful school and community and explain how we use our state-of-the-art learning facilities to ensure our students shape next now. Um, After today's webinar, you'll receive an email from our consultants. Feel free to book a time, whether you would like to meet us virtually or come over to our campus here and have a look around and really get a sense of our community here. And as I said, if you have any questions at all, if you want to know more about bilingualism, if you have any questions about your child and how to best support their bilingual learning journey, also feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to connect you with Angela as well. Just going to check the Q&A box one final time. Nope, no more questions have come in. So then let's draw today's episode to an end. So here, if you'd like, you can scan the QR code for a personalized consultation, but don't worry, we will be contacting you after today's event. But yes, I hope you've enjoyed today's first episode. A really interesting topic, really interesting expertise and viewpoints coming from Angela on how to support your child's bilingual education journey. Angela, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your thoughts and your experience. I'm sure that's really benefited our parent audience that's joining us here today. And with that, I wish you the best, wonderful rest of the afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you, Julian.